Good day, everyone, or should I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, wherever you are joining us from across the globe. It's another season, it's another time to come together to have the webinar number 4 from the webinar 5 series of the Young Quantity Surveyors Forum, the Diaspora Special Group. I'm delighted and I'm excited to be part of this session today, and I'm sure you also are, which I believe would be a very informative and educative session. So today we're looking at webinar number 4 with the title An Information Session on NIQS Reciprocity Agreements, the definitions, the contents, the implications, and the opportunities. I believe would be able to dissect and adequately address various issues which individuals might have concerning the NIQS reciprocity agreements today. And we have a very important guest of honor who will be doing justice to our various questions today. First of all, we have presentation sessions, and also we have the panelist sessions where we are able to discuss across board and then take questions. Before we go on further, let me introduce myself. My name is Okpoluwa Akinradewo. I'm a PhD candidate in construction management at the University of Johannesburg in South Africa, and I will be your anchor today. But I won't be the only moderator for this session today. I also have with me QS Adebola Adeyera. Good morning, QS Adebola.
Yeah, good morning, QS Okpoluwa Akinradewo. It's actually a privilege to join in moderating today's session. Actually welcome everyone, and it's a thing of joy to be here today. Thank you very much for the introduction.
All right. Without wasting much of our time this morning, I will quickly bring on our indefatigable YQSF chairman in person of QS Ayodele S. Faleye to give us the YQSF remark. Good morning, QS Ayodele Faleye.
Yeah, good morning, QS Okpoluwa. Good morning, QS Bola Adera, and good morning to everyone joining us across the world. First of all, I want to welcome you to this section, and I want to appreciate you for joining us today. This is the first section for this year, so I want to use this opportunity to say Happy New Year to you. Equally, I want to humbly recognize the presence of our president, QS Olayemi Shonobi, FNIQS. Thank you, Mr. President, for finding it possible to join us. I equally recognize NEC members joining us across the world, our resource person, our SI Secretary for International Affairs, QS Sotunde, and the coordinator of the Young QS Forum Diaspora Special Group, QS Tosin Toladu. Thank you for your efforts. Today's session is going to address the subject of reciprocity agreements, and I can say that it's very timely because of the impact of migration, globalization, and the infusion of technological tools in professional boundaries. It is clear today that we cannot safeguard our geography just by regulation alone. And recently, a report from different global body points to the fact that globalization and migration is going to be part of the cardinal issues to be addressed in this third millennium. And as an institute, the best thing to do is actually to position our members and to maximize the opportunities available as a result of globalization and migration. And that is why I'm happy. I'm expectant to equally listen to our speakers to discuss about the subject of NIQS reciprocity agreement, what we have done so far, and possibly other similar reciprocity agreements or MOU that the Institute will still work towards actualizing. So I don't want to take your time, but before I close with my remark, I want to equally emphasize the commitment of the Young QS Forum Diaspora Special Group, ably led by QS Tosin. I commend your efforts. The intention actually emanates out of the Young QS curiosity to harness the power of diaspora resource pool and diaspora talents. And I can see that the platform is becoming formidable each day, and we're going to take it even much more better. Thank you so much. I will stop here, and I want to appreciate all the followers joining across all platforms, the LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and our official YouTube channel. Thank you for finding it possible to join us. And I want you to be deliberate. I want you to be very conscious about the subject that they're going to discuss and how you can take advantage of it to navigate your career further. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much for that insightful welcome speech by the Young Quantity Surveyors Forum chairperson in person of QS Ayodele Faleye. Moving forward now, we invite the NIQS president, who is our chief host for today's event. He would be giving us the NIQS president speech. Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen, QS Olayemi M. Shonubi. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, all. I hope you can all hear me.
Loud and clear, sir.
It's indeed my pleasure to be here to join you in this series of webinars organized by the Diaspora Group. Let me commend Tosin and Okwe and all the other members of the Diaspora Group who have ensured that at least almost on a monthly basis, we have something to discuss that will be of interest to the younger members of the profession. Now, let me commend at least those also in Nigeria who have partnered with those of you outside to ensure that the young ones are kept abreast of current developments in the profession. Reciprocity agreement is very interesting because, like the chairman of the YQSF said, as a result of the impact of globalization, the fact that in some other parts of the world, they have these diversity issues that are coming up and they're bringing people from other parts of the country. And also because of skills shortage, there is a need for them to engage professionals from outside their country. Now, that has further created opportunities for quantity surveyors in Nigeria. I said it is interesting because way back, talking about 20, 30 years ago, the NIQS was wary of in getting involved in reciprocity agreement. And what was the reason? If you will recall, all of us have been clamoring for, we've been commending the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for signing the Executive Order 7, which made it mandatory that all jobs given out in this country must be done by a Nigerian. Because hitherto, most of these jobs were being farmed out to expatriates. And that where it's only where you don't have a Nigerian competent enough that you engage an expatriate, and then you have a Nigerian that will understudy. And I want to believe that of almost all the professions, probably it's only the lawyers that have benefited more, even before this law came out. Because you find out that when the privatization of the power sector was going to be done, the lawyers that put up the legal framework, the legal agreements, had both expatriates who were experienced and Nigerian firms. And I was hoping that we'll have the same, cascade down to the construction. So, well, yes, way back, it's not that the institute had not been involved in discussions regarding reciprocity. There was a time Institute was involved in having reciprocity with the Association of South African Quantity Surveyors. But at that point in time, It was just shortly after our return to democracy. And if some of you might know, a lot of South African countries were coming into the country. For instance, that was when MTN and Co came in with the licensing of telecoms. That was the time we had the influx of shopping malls. And most of these shopping malls were funded and financed by South African companies. If I was from South African funds. So invariably that meant as they were coming in, they were also bringing in their own people to come and do the work. Just like we say when Chinese governments, they give Nigerian loans, they bring Nigerian companies to come and execute those loans. So for us at the NIQS, it was also to protect our fort for our members. And that invariably did not allow that reciprocity agreement to see the light of the day. I've heard people talk about why have we not signed, why are we not recognized? Let me use that word. But I don't think it's a question of recognized by RICS. We had some conversation with RICS some years ago when on the sideline of a conference in Ghana. And at a point in time, it was almost like they were going to sign with Nigeria, with an NIQS, or at least the person in charge of Africa, because RICS is a big organization and they have somebody covering the Africa and Middle East who was present at that conference in Ghana. And the person was enthusiastic, but apparently when the person got back to the UK, to the headquarters, I think the enthusiasm was dampened by the communication he got from the people at the headquarters. Then you ask that question, how come RICS signed with the Ghana Institution of Surveyors and not Nigeria? But then you also have to recall that in Ghana, all the surveying bodies all came together to find Ghana Institution of Surveyors. Whereas in Nigeria, all of us are separate. And for those who may not know, even for the FIG that were also involved, there was a time FIG was to have been hosted here in Nigeria. Because the land surveyors participate more in the activity of FIG prior to this time. They were the ones that they took on the hosting challenge without even getting involved with the NIQS. Well, as if NIQS did not exist. Neither did they get in touch with the Nigerian Institution of Ethics Surveyors and Valuers. So we had all those little minor challenges, which is part of why it's a little difficult for us to come together as one surveying body, which will have been a lot easier for Ghana to have that reciprocity agreement with all of us all come together. But having said that, I think there might also be some little bit of, I don't want to use the word apartheid, but or racism, because Association of South African Quantity Surveyors is only a QS. It's not an amalgamation of all the surveying professionals. But then RICS has reciprocity agreement with ASAQS. So where do we go from here? Thankfully, at the Pacific Association of Quantity Surveyors conference in Malaysia in 2019, we finally succeeded in signing with Canada. There were some discussions at a point which hopefully this council will revitalize with Australian Institute of Quantity Surveyors about not having a reciprocity agreement. But then what's the benefit of the reciprocity agreement, you may ask? Like as I've been said, because of the globalization effort, because of the number of qualified members we have in Nigeria, who are apparently looking for jobs. The last time I checked, over the last 10 years, we had a jump, a tremendous exponential jump in our membership from about 2,746 that we had in 2022. I'm talking about qualified members, corporate members. We now have 5,281, which is almost 100% in 10 years. Only God knows what will happen in another 10 years. Obviously, all this, and given maybe our environment, getting opportunities might be a little difficult for some. So how do you create such opportunities? When countries like Canada, even UK, Australia, they have skills shortage. For those who always go online and as subscriber to some of these international journals, like the building, like the RICS journal and what have you, even Canadian, you will find out that there is always this advert for quantity surveyors. But the challenge is the qualification they will be looking out for, you don't have. So in signing that reciprocity agreement, this allows some of our young ones who are qualified, who are also seeking to take their skills outside this country to enjoy the benefit of practicing the profession. And the ultimate benefit will also be for the country, because if they go out, then they acquire further exposure, particularly about the best global practices, which maybe once in a while they can bring back into the country and also help to improve the process in the NIQS, particularly in the construction industry in Nigeria. So yes, there is a win-win for both for the individual quantity surveyor as well as for the profession. The other side of it, the negative side of it, as far as I will see, might be the possible exploitation of our best hands. Even though in other spheres, in other climes, it's not the best hands that live. Rather, it is those, because the best hands will always have employment. So the tendency to want to live is not there. The incentive to live is not there. It's only people who probably have challenges that, oh, okay, there's an opportunity for me, let me go out and try my luck. But here in Nigeria, because of the way things are, no matter how, even if you are engaged, if you are employed, the environment itself is not conducive for a lot of people unless you have some support. When I say support, I mean, it could be family support. So invariably, the idea might be for you to try your luck elsewhere, where you believe that financially your efforts can be better appreciated. Let me use that word, better appreciated. It's not that it's not appreciated here in Nigeria, but can be better appreciated. And then maybe you have some plans for yourself and your family. And then you believe that the Nigerian society as it is, Nigerian environment as it is right now, cannot allow you to achieve those dreams. So invariably, that will be the negative aspect, in the sense that our best hands will live, but we are also hopeful that much later in the future, we will still come back and bring new and fresh and innovative ideas that can help improve our own systems here. You know, so but in trying to sign some of these reciprocity agreements, I'm sure some of the things we'll be looking out for will be what will benefit the profession in Nigeria, as well as the members as a whole. Because I've seen some of the agreements, the one between AIQS, Real Institute of Quantity Surveyors, and the Canadian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, for instance, it's only for 3 years, which is renewable. Whereas the one we signed with Canadian is open-ended. With most of the other countries, it can be, I mean, it is for a certain time renewable. And there is also some aspect of this reciprocity agreement that also ensures that when people even come here, they will be made to at least maybe do a professional competence interview rather than just being admitted straight. Because even when you leave from Nigeria to join any of these bodies using that reciprocity agreement, you also have to maybe take a course in how things are done locally, their code of ethics or professional, and conduct. Usually, you'll be also be requested to write a logbook for about 1 year to show that you have practiced under a certified or qualified professional in that environment. So, having said that, I hope the discourse that will be thrown open here would further enlighten all of us that are on here about how to go about taking advantage of the reciprocity agreement. I wish all happy deliberation, and I thank you all for having me here. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President. We're very grateful to have you in our midst today. You really said a lot about the reciprocity agreement. You talked about the advantages, the disadvantages, and the need for professionals, professional bodies across the world to collaborate more often. Thank you so much. I would like to also briefly introduce our first panelist for today, who happens to be the Secretary, International Affairs of our Noble Institute, and the person of QS Bolaji Oluwadamilola Shotunde. Just permit me to quickly just to share with our guests online, participants online, some of your brief achievements and profile as well. Mr. Bolaji Shotunde, as a lot of us has actually known him, is actually a conserving graduate from Yapate College of Technology, and he holds an MBA in construction management from Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. You know, QS Bolaji Shotunde is actually a member of the Nigerian Sub-Quantity Surveyor, a registered member of the institute as well, a registered member of the Quantity Surveyor Registration Board of Nigeria. You know, QS Bolaji Shotunde in 2009 joined Consul Associates as a consulting firm, and before he actually moved on to another organization currently in August 2021, when he joined Servant Integrated Concept Limited. Currently, is the Chief Operating Officer of Servant Integrated Concept Limited, and also a cost consultant and project manager as well. Mr. Balaji Shotunde, it's a pleasure to have you speak to us on today's topic. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Balaji.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Adiera. And I want to say it's a privilege to be here. I'm humbled by the opportunity given to discuss today on this important topic. I would like to say good morning to Mr. President and also the rest of the members online. I wish you all as well Happy New Year. This is my first time of interfacing with the membership since we came into office under the leadership of Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, to cut to the chase, I believe the President already gave an overview of the paper we're going to be discussing today. So what I'll try to do is perhaps just provide further details, a little bit of further details as to what exactly it is you're talking about. Just to make this a interactive section, I would like you all to confirm within your comment section if you can see my screen. If you can see my presentation, say yes, I can. Type in yes, I can if you can see my slides. Just to be sure that I'm not alone. Okay, super. Then we can move on then. Super. Okay, great. So to cut to the chase, I've tried to create this presentation in 3 parts. What I've done is to try to talk about the SIA, meaning just to give you a brief overview of what the office of the SIA is all about, because it is important that we have that in context before we proceed. Then, of course, a little bit of what the whole reciprocity details is all about. And like I said, the President already gave you an overview, but I'll try to, as much as possible, just bring out some particular details. And of course, the third part of the presentation is what I call the now, meaning where are we now, and perhaps also try to let you know the things we are doing under this present council. So if you join me on this ride, I would like to kick off this way. The SIA, Secretary International Affairs. What is this office all about? What is this office all about when it comes to the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors? And to cut to the chase, really, there's a constitutional requirement for the office of the SIA, meaning the constitution of NIQS gives specific duties of the functions of the SIA. And amongst them has to do with creating policies, creating programs, promoting contact with sub-regional, regional, and international bodies, right? Within the sub-regional region, within the regional atmosphere, and international bodies. So the office of the SIA in itself has been established to cater for these two things. Create your policies, develop programs within sub-regional axis, meaning maybe within the Western region, within your immediate vicinity, within an African zone, within a particular zone, regional, or even most importantly, international. And guess what? Most importantly, there's a provision in the Constitution that says in creating these policies and relating to the sub-regional, regional, and international, the relationship has to be mutual. The word mutual is specific in the Constitution of an NIQS. And when you say mutual, it is clear that anything you are doing, anything we are promoting with any of these bodies, any of these institutions, any of these countries have to do mutual. And if you say mutual, it means what am I giving to them and what am I getting from them? What am I giving to them and what am I getting from them? What is the common interest? What it is that both parties can have together as a common issue? What value do I have to promoting programs and policies? If I want to do a program with Ghana, if we want to do a program with South Africa, if NIQS want to create a policy with Kenya, what are we bringing to the table? What is the value Kenya is going to get from it? And what is the value Nigeria as an institution of NIQS going to get from it? And in all essence, bringing all that together, it begins to tell you that the whole idea of the office of the SIA in our constitution is actually to create reciprocity, is actually to work on reciprocity. Basically, the word mutual, it means reciprocity. So just to give you in context that the whole essence of setting up the office of the SIA is to continue to look for how we can have mutual policies, mutual program, how we can promote contact within regional, sub-regional, and international bodies that can be valuable to us members. So the whole essence of the office of the SIA, everything that has to come out from the office of the SIA must be something that speaks to this truth. And I thought to give us a background, just to show you how important it is, the whole idea of reciprocity, to give you in actual sense the essence that the Constitution provided that office to see that we constantly find a way to engage these bodies in a way that is mutually good for both parties. And if you have to move forward from there, then let's talk about reciprocity in itself. I have an image here. For some of us who in Nigeria, particularly within our local government, somebody will probably call this image scratch my back, I scratch your back. Do I have a witness here? Can somebody confirm what I'm saying? Scratch my back, you scratch my back. Anybody have an idea of what I'm talking about? I scratch you, you scratch me. Super. Thank you, Adeyemi Dada, for that confirmation. Okay, to talk about reciprocity in itself, we need to begin to understand what the concept is. And I saw this visual image, but perhaps give us a better understanding. If you're on the left and you're on the right, okay, and you are backing each other as it were, what exactly is it that you are doing that I can benefit from when I'm not there? Are you over there somewhere at home doing something that can benefit somebody else? Think about somebody, think about a salesman that decides to sell at a very lower price to a customer, thinking or expecting that the customer will come back next time to buy more. How can I get that the reciprocity? What can I do to make this customer, can I be of value to this customer so that the customer can come back? So anytime you hear reciprocity, anytime you hear mutual, you need to understand that you have to bring something to the table that the other party is interested in. And the other party also has to have something that you are particularly interested in. And that is the context. Without you having this understanding, it becomes difficult in even approaching any of these organizations on this mutual understanding or agreement. If we are to approach Australia, if you are to approach Kenya, if you are to approach RICS, if you are to approach Qatar or anybody, the first question is going to be, what is the need for them? That's what they're going to ask you. And you also need to have identified what is the need for you. So let's go a bit deeper, okay? Let's go a bit deeper. So by definition in itself, when you talk reciprocity, you're talking about the practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privileges granted by one country or organization to another. I'm going to take that again, just so that I can sink in. The practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privileges granted by one country or organization to another. And it speaks for itself. And by implication, what it means then is this, that it encourages the receiver to deepen their knowledge of the giver. It encourages you to deepen the knowledge of the giver. So for us to say we even actually want to go into any form of agreement with anybody, we also need to understand exactly what does the giver, the person we're approaching, what do they need? What do they lack that we have that we can give to them? Such knowledge is necessary for identifying what among the receiver's resources can be given in return that will maximize the giver's benefit from the relationship. So you can't just wake up and say, oh, I want to get an agreement with this. I want to go into a mutual understanding with so and so institution. You need to have done your own research. What is it that they need that we have? What is it that they need that we have? And this is more or less one of the best times, like the YQSF chairman had said, and also as emphasized by the president, with the realm of the globalization, the workspace environment, post-COVID syndrome. We can see that people are actually migrating, people are having shortage of workers, professionals, and the likes. And therein lies the opportunity for us to first of all seek what exactly it is that we have to give them. And just to emphasize on a bit of the opportunities we are talking about here, we are talking about promoting growth amongst our members. We are talking about exposing some of our members to international practices. We are talking about a system that allows us to innovate our own ways better. A system that allows us to know what it is going on there globally and finding a way to localize it within our own Nigerian context here. And we're talking about something that is good for business. Something that is good for business. Ladies and gentlemen, essentially, you cannot go through life without trying to form mutual agreement with people. You really cannot go through life without having to go through one form of reciprocity or the other. In fact, the new way of working with the post-COVID syndrome has clearly identified that collaborations is the way to go. Collaborations is the way to go. So it is very, very important, okay, that we understand what the ideology around this is and see that how NIQS has been rightly positioned from the onset, from the beginning, with a constitutional requirement that we must seek to collaborate with people that can help us be better, and also that we ourselves can express our values to them. Moving on. Where are we now? Trying to identify where we are now, I just want to highlight one or two few things that we currently have in stock, just so that we emphasize it. And our members, some of you are aware, but perhaps never really get to see it in details. Majority of what I'm going to share moving forward are all expressly communicated on the website of the Nigerian Institute of Conduct Surveyors, so please do well to check it in there. So right now, we have this. We have a relationship with the Canadian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. This is perhaps one of the most germane and agreement we've had with other institutions, because in its sense, it's actual a reciprocity agreement we have with Canada. And I'm just going to highlight very quickly some of the few details of that agreement. And I'm going to start with what concerns us in Nigeria here. Remember what I said about reciprocity. You must have something that they need, that they can benefit from. And you also must have identified as a body, as an institute, that they have something that you need. So in talking about the migration, talking about the businesses, talking about the whole idea of practicing in another country, they came up with this agreement, which says here, if a Canadian, a member of the Professional Quantity Surveyors of the CIQS, currently in good standard, may be elected as a corporate member of NIQS, meaning anybody who is currently professionally qualified as a quantity surveyor in Canada can as well be elected as a corporate member, either as a member or a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, subject to, like the president had mentioned, 1 year's professional experience as a QS in Nigeria. Secondly, a professional competency review will have been conducted by NIQS to test the applicant's knowledge of law and practice in Nigeria. Thirdly, this member can be elected into any grade or any other qualifications that NIQS, in accordance with bylaws, deem necessary. So basically, going to the table, we are telling the Canadians, we have something. You guys are looking at your members also coming here to practice, to do any other thing. You guys are also trying to create establishment. We can give you a platform and a venue for you to come in here, understand our laws, understand our practice, and make business good for you. And this is what we are bringing to the table. Bringing that to the table, the Canadian Institute of Quantity Survey also came up with this and said, okay, if that is fine, we also, knowing that this will benefit us, okay, we can also have something for you that we think might be beneficial to you. So what did they come back with? That a corporate member, either a member or a fellow of NIQS, who is also in good standing, can be elected as a professional quantity surveyor in Canada, subject to, of course, completion of the bylaws, rules, regulation of the ethics portion of CIQS test of professional experience practice problem, 1 year's practice experience as a QS in Canada. Okay, the professional competent interview conducted by CIQS to test applicants' knowledge of law and practice in Canada. And of course, it can also be elected into any other grade or qualification of the CIQS in accordance with CIQS bylaws and regulations. So you can see here that the whole essence of this agreement is having that mutual respect, having that mutual understanding, having that mutual value, having that mutual benefit. And this is what currently obtains within the NIQS and CIQS. And of course, we've had in recent times, we've had some publications going around how the testimony that was given on LinkedIn by some of our members who has gone through route. I'm sure later on in this session, we're going to speak with that. So permit me to just move fast a bit, all right? We have to have another relationship here, engineering consultants group. NIQS have a memorandum of understanding with the engineering consultants group in Qatar. And what does this understanding say? Summarily, it says that, see, the ECG shall liaise with NIQS for recruitment of qualified QSs in Nigeria as the need may arise from time to time. Individuals shall be offered employment to work in Qatar or any other location as deemed necessary. Within the evolution of Qatar, what was, as many of us know, the development going on there, okay, we were able to pitch to the ECG.com. We have our members here who are good and qualified when it comes to cost management, okay, and they are very good at it. And we recommend, okay, that in dealing with content surveyors who are coming into this country, let us have an understanding so that NIQS is able to provide that platform for you to be able to get qualified QSs to practice in your office. And they signed that MOU because they saw that they needed it, that there was value for it there, because they were also trying to start up. It was picking up, okay, the whole infrastructure development over there picking up. They need a lot of people were coming in and they weren't sure who was professionally competent enough. And NIQS came to the table. We as a body, we have standards. If anybody has an NIQS certificate, we can assure you that the person has gone through our processes and our processes are solid and we can guarantee you that these people are good. And they saw the benefit and they said, okay, that is fine. Then we can come through you to get anybody from Nigeria to come and work there as a consultant or as an employee in Qatar. We also have an MOU with the Qatar Green Building Council. This is very, very important. And I'm not sure if a lot of us understand what this means. The whole world, okay, is actually going through a phase, which all of us can testify in the issue of the climate change. Recently, we had a seminar at the national level here when we were talking about effect of energy, the effect of carbon in in the air, climate change, and this is about the way to go. Now we're beginning to see that organizations are beginning to demand for consultants with green experts, green initiatives, green certifications that can do value engineering, come to the table and tell us, see, we can have other materials that can give us little emissions and we can move. So NIQS also said, see, let's go into partnership, mutual understanding with Qatar Green Building Council. And what does it say? That we can share knowledge and awareness on sustainability and cost value management in built environment. We can have mutual trainings. Let's organize trainings together that tells our own members what it is that needs to be done in terms of understanding building materials and all. Also, we can share mutual experiences from our local construction industries and market. We can begin to tell them what our prices are looking at here. They can tell us what is going on there. Our members can have a perfect understanding of the type of materials to advise their clients to get in relation to the cost as well. Of course, also says we can provide together and facilitate framework for certification for qualifying members, and of course, undertake research in common areas. As it is, these details I've shared with you from Canada and the Qatar and the Green Building Council are the three major ones that we know we've had pen on paper in terms of either reciprocal or an MOU agreement. We also have some other things in the pipeline. We are members of ISEC, also members of FIG. We attended the last Pacific Asia Quantity Surveyors event also. So these are things that is moving up. And most importantly, also, like the president mentioned, we've actually initiated contact to get on the understanding with AIQS, Australian Quantity Surveyors, to see how far we can go. I'm delighted to say that the institute had actually, before now, reached an advanced stage of actually signing an MOU before this present council. And we're going to pick it up from there and see how we can make things work. Shortly before I round up, I'd just like to express generally from the office of the SIA what we believe should be the framework on how to proceed. It is clear, and I'm particularly delighted that this seminar is being organized by members from the YQSF in diaspora. It is clear that to make these things work, to reach out to a lot of these regional or international bodies, we will need the help of everybody, especially those of us that are in the diaspora, those of us who are actually stationed in these countries, those of us who are either student members or working in any of these establishments, to help us create that interface that creates a soft landing. And creating that interface has to start with what you know they need. What is the need? What is the lack? So that when we reach out to them, we're not just coming to say, oh, we want to have an agreement with you. We're coming there to tell them, see, we've identified that you have a need and there's something that we can give to you to help you fill that void. And in return, we can also let you know that, see, it's an open market, it's a globalization right now. Anybody can work anywhere. And to make you an active member in the global organization, it is also important for you to join us into a mutual understanding. So what is this framework I was talking about? The framework should be, in the essence, trying to approach these things on a continental basis. Let's look at Africa, for instance. Who are our sisters, who are our brothers? Within the African continent, within the African market, who are those that we can go into mutual understanding with? Let's talk about the young professionals. Okay, what exactly can we do, okay, in fostering young professionals, in making them more active, in giving more professionals more liberty, okay, to be more exposed within their own environment or outside of the environment? Which international organizations can we reach out to, okay, to give credence, okay, to the agility that our youth have in this day and age? Let's look at our women organizations, Waxing, for instance. What can we do to promote the quantity surveying practice from our females? Which international body can we look up to? Okay, in what way can we develop capacity for the women within an industry? Okay, let's look at the members in the academics. How can we promote international organizations? How can we promote international collaboration with members in the academics? A lot of them that are teachers, that are consulting. What can the institute do to create a platform for them so that they can share mutual knowledge with their counterparts outside of this country, be it in Africa, be it internationally? For some of our members who are into contracting, what also can we bring to the table? What is it that we can do to our consultants as well, and etc. that way? So globally, we need to find a way to break down this framework Okay, look at everything we have as an institute in each area and begin to think of how we can harness these opportunities and also identify what our own strengths are that we can give back to the table. I'm happy that very shortly the president will be inaugurating the committee for the SIA committee, which will be putting expanding this framework. And of course, like I said, with the help of members in the diaspora and also some of our senior members who have actually been there before us, like our predecessors in SIA and the like, also give us an advice on how to go about it. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, this is just to give you an overview. I hope I was able to carry everybody along. Thank you for your time. Please note that the Office of the Secretary of International Affairs is quite accessible. We have our emails. If you think of opportunities or things that you know can be beneficial to the institute, kindly send us an email through the email address there. That is the website also. That is also a direct phone number to myself. Please feel free to contact us to ask for clarifications when necessary. And of course, we'll do our best to make sure that we serve you to the best of our knowledge. I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I would like to rest my case for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, QS Bolaji Shotunde, for that detailed and informative presentation. I believe this has stirred up some questions in the mind of our viewers this afternoon, and I believe we might have one or two questions to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, please try to pen down your questions for now. We'll take the questions together in the panelist session. Right now, we'll be moving forward to bring in the second presentation. But before then, we'll quickly go for a short break just to put things in order and allow us to settle down on what we have just listened to from our presentation. Thank you. All right. Welcome back to the second half of this session this afternoon. Moving forward, we'll be going straight to the second presentation, which will be anchored by our resourceful person of QS, Olawale Tosin Toladun. Just to give a quick citation of QS Olawale Tosin Toladun's profile. QS Olawale is a quantity surveyor with about 13 years experience in practice. He had his bachelor's and master's degree in quantity surveying with honors at the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University at Ile-Ife. He is currently a PhD candidate at the University of New South Wales, Australia, researching on sustainable procurement in the construction industry. Until moving to Australia, he was a senior QS at the Ondo State Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. Presently is practicing as a chartered quantity surveyor with Cowen Building Group in Australia. He's a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Quantity Surveyors, the Australian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Canadian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, Project Management Professional Institute, and is also a registered quantity surveyor. He has served as the Vice President of the National Association of Quantity Surveying Students, the OAU chapter, and was also a two-time General Secretary of the Ondo State chapter of the NIQS. QS Tosin is a NIQS logbook assessor, a counselor with the RICS, and currently the coordinator of the YQSF in diaspora. He was an external supervisor to Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Owo and Crown Polytechnic Ado Ekiti. Presently, he is one of the organizing committee members of the Right to Lead, which is a program or a competition organized to facilitate research work among young quantity surveyors. QS Olawale Tosin Toladun is married with two lovely kids. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome QS Tosin Toladun for his presentation on um, getting a QS CV that fits into the international space. QS Tosin, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, QS Okle. Uh, it's nice to be here. Thank you very much, everyone who has been on board watching live from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you very, very much. And I want to send a special greeting from my wife who has released me to be up at this moment. It's almost 10 p.m. I should be with her. Greetings from her to you as well. Uh, I'm going to be um, talking about preparing a quantity surveying CV that meets international recruiters' demand. But before I continue, I just want to confirm if we can see the screen. Just type into the comment box to let us know if we can see the screen. All right, thank you, Rauf Abdullahi. Yeah, thank you for confirming that. I want to say thank you to Young Quantity Surveying Forum National Chairman in person of QSI Odile Faleye, and also all the working committees. It's been very, very good one. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be able to present something that will be beneficial to our teaming young quantity surveyors. As well, I want to also welcome on board the new National Executive Committee of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, ably led by QS Olayemi Shonubi. Thank you for giving us platform to shine. Very, very grateful. When we're talking about NIQS reciprocity, and I really appreciate QS Bolaji Shotunde for giving a detailed presentation about that. It's really detailed, but all will not fulfill its purpose if most of us get, to all these Western countries and we are unable to land a QS job within the first first 6 months. That has been a challenge. That was one of the challenges I met. And I was able to scale through it, and I've been able to put something together that will assist you and I, in getting a very good CV. One thing I want you to know is the fact that you are not the only one applying for that role. An average job publication or advertisement, for example, in Australia, will receive a minimum of 100 applications. A minimum of 100 applications. So out of 100 applications, they're just looking for one person. So out of 100 applications, if they're going to do any shortlist, they are going to shortlist about 5. So which means 95 is going to the junk or going to their database for further notice, until further notice. But in this case, how do you get your CV to be one of the 5? It is better to be one of the 5, and maybe someone else get PhD position, it shows that you are close or you are closer. And if there's any other opportunity, lessons you have learned from there, you bring it into play. I don't need to define what quantity surveying is. I just wanted to know what is a CV, curriculum vitae. A CV is something or a document that tells us about you when you are not there. And there is no need for us to, I've seen CVs going up to 3, 4, 5 pages. If it is not required to be up to that number of pages, a CV shouldn't be more than a page or maximum 2 pages. And that is letting us know that it has to contain key information. Key is underlined. Key information. Most of the CVs that are going out there contain a lot of information, a lot of set of information. You could see people describing what they have done. Almost 3 paragraphs on one row. But when you're writing a CV that one needs to, take a good look at, it has to contain something key, something that will make you stand out, that will bring you out of the other 95 and make you to be one of the five. Now, what are those key things that they are looking out for? Identification. Who are you? Achievements. What have you done? Qualifications. What do you have? Skills. How have you put them into play? Most of the time, when we have a job advertisements, there is what we call job description. A lot of time, applicants don't read the job descriptions. They just go to look at the requirements. The job description is telling you what they are looking for. And if you have that, it needs to be reflected on your CV, because that's one of the things they're going to be looking at. Forget about your qualifications at that time, forget about the skills you have, forget about the experience you have. But how would you, bring in your experience to fit into the job description? Who do they need? What do you have? How can the what and the who meet to ensure that they will be after you? So we're going to be looking at these 4 key lines to ensure that you have what is important in your CV. And this is not only when you are seeking for job in the Western world, even in Nigeria. This is very, very key as well. Then identification. What are those things within identification? I've seen CVs that just included just the first name. Things you need to have on your CV that are very, very important, and that they are part of things that identify you. 1, the name. 2, your current job role. 3, contact number. 4, email address. 5, probably a professional any of the professional social media platforms. Name. Your name has to be in full. Your first name and your last name, they are very, very important. Your middle name may not be there. A full name comprises of your first name and your last name. If you have middle names, all well and good, you can put them. A typical example is Olawale Tosin Toladu or Olawale Toladu. And that has to be a key, unique identifier. What role are you in currently? And as we know, different from the scenario being played out in Nigeria, and I want the NIQS, the National Executive Council, to probably look into this and see how they can ensure that quantity surveyor as a multidiscipline profession performs its duty or its role in the field as a multidiscipline profession as well. Here, there are different roles the quantity surveyors perform. Are you a cost planner? Are you an estimator? Are you a contract administrator? Are you a cash flow manager? All of the numerous roles of quantity survey of a quantity surveyor are being fragmented. So you can have about 6 quantity surveyors in an organization, but they are performing different roles. So in your CV, you must put it there, though you are a quantity surveyor, but you put your current role, estimator, cash flow manager, cash flow forecast manager, or project scheduler. These are so many numerous roles a quantity surveyor can perform. And also very, very important, you have your contact number, your mobile. That is how they can contact you. If you don't have your contact number, make sure you have your email address. And your email address has to be your personal email address. I've seen a lot of people who put their work email address where they have presently. To me, it's not it's not that quite important. Your personal email, when you read often and often, a kind of email where they will send your bills into, that you can be able to see whatsoever is coming in as at that time. So in that area, you have your contact number and you have your email address. Also, professional social links could be there, probably your LinkedIn profile. And make sure if you are putting in your LinkedIn profile, there must not be any discrepancy between what you are submitting and what you have on LinkedIn profile, because they're going to check out. If you are submitting your Facebook profile, make sure your name on the Facebook profile and your CV, they are the same. If you know they are not the same, there's no point you including it. It was not requested in the first instance. It's just for you to give them more. If they want more information about you, that's where they can go. If they need to know what else you have, that's where they can go. It is an edge for those who know how to make use of it as a tool. Thank you very much on that. And achievements. Achievements is there are 2 things under this achievement. I'll talk about the personal profile and at the same time your work experience. They are your achievements. The personal profile is what they will read about you. It usually should be about between 4 and 5 sentences. I am a chartered quantity surveyor. I have practiced with the public sector and the private sector. I am vast in estimating quantities and in project supervision. State your key attributes, your key skills, and you include 2 or 3 of your achievements, 2 or 3 of your skills, and what you can do for the company you are going into. 4 or 5 key sentences that will make your profile, your personal profile. I've seen a lot of people where they just write, a lot what they have in the other part of their CV as profile. No, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for who you are, what have you done, just a synopsis, a short note that if they don't want to go through the whole of your CV, they can read that and pick something important about you. Something important about you. So it should contain a little bit of your attributes, a little bit of your key skills, a little bit of your achievements, just a summary. It's just like when you're writing a research, you have an abstract. So your personal profile is your abstract, such that anyone reading it will know what the CV contains. A lot of people, once they read their personal profile, most researchers don't go through the remaining again because you're not offering anything. Then going to the work experience. Your work experience could be itemized in 2 different ways. It could be based on your work experience, what you have done, where you have worked before, or project experience on what kind of job, what kind of work have you executed. So if you can't mix both together, and it depends on the kind of role you are applying for. If they are seeking for a quantity surveyor or seeking for a cost planner that want to work on a particular project, then it will be good for you to use your project experience. If you are submitting your CV for a kind of role that has to do with a company who does a lot of different kinds of construction, it will be very good for you to use your work experience where you have worked. So using the work experience, you have to provide information about the past roles in different organizations, starting with the current one you are in. And if you have worked in about 7 different places, it is not compulsory you list the 7 organizations you worked. The first 3, which are very, very recent, maybe your past 5 years, your past 6 years, where have you been? Those are the key things they need to see. No one needs to know where you worked 13 years ago, except if they are requesting for it. Except if you have a key project that is very, very particular to that role you are applying for, that you want them to know that you have experience in doing this thing, you can include it. So a minimum of 2 or 3 places you have worked before, it's okay for them to know what you possess. And most of the time, it's places where you have worked about 6 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 years. Try as much as possible to avoid it, because during the interview session they will ask you, why are you jumping from one company to the other? What gives us the assurance that you're not going to spend 6 months and you bring us back to the market again? So it's better you list organizations where you have spent a minimum of 2-3 years, starting from the current role you are in. If you are in the current role you are in it for 6 months, it's I don't see a reason why they will look at you. What are you barely 6 months? Are you trying to tell me that okay, you are not convenient or you're not comfortable where you are? You must have a cogent reason, because everything you are having in your CV, they are going to question you about it. So, and you list the name of the organization and the role. Maybe presently where you are a quantity surveyor. Where you left, you were an estimator. The place you were before, you were, let me say you were an assistant estimator. So it is explainable that okay, you moved into this new role as a quantity surveyor because it covers much more vast area than just being an estimator, or you are moving from an estimator to a cost planner. You must show where what you have done and the duties. And in each of those places, make sure you mention 1 or 2 projects you are involved with and your role. Like I said, there are different facets, there are different fragments of quantity surveying. If you are an estimator, whatever you are putting down must reflect the role of an estimator. I have seen cases whereby people are applying for, an estimator, they are putting the role of a contract administrator. You won't be considered. Why? Because that is not what they are looking for. Good, you know how to estimate, but you need to show that where you are coming from, you have performed the role of an estimator and you have performed an exercise. So if you are listing projects you have worked on, you are just going to tell them, I estimated this project and the company won the project. In getting projects, I brought in a lot of value engineering that improved the value of the project and reduced the cost, and there were a lot of cost savings. That's your role as as an estimator. If you are a cost planner, you let them know you have a deep understanding of the development, vis-a-vis the rules you have that guides your practice. You need to let them know that you are a cost planner. You plan the cost, by estimating and by looking into the market, seeking for various alternatives, that will be good, that will be fit for purpose. You list the roles that you have performed. And if you're a quantity surveyor and you have performed the role of estimating, you perform the role of cost planning, you perform the role of cash flow forecaster, you perform the role of valuing contract administrator, you need to mention them there. And 1 or 2 projects you have worked on that they can relate to. You can give the address of the projects for them to go and check it out. Also outline your achievements. Your achievements is not the fact that you only won, but the fact that you brought value on that project, or the fact that you were on this tender, you were top 3. You were interviewed by the client. It's an achievement. Or you say, in this role, I was able to set up a cost or price database on different organizations. That is a key skill of an analytics. Even if they're not going to consider you, they will look at the fact that you are progressing, you are developing yourself. That's what they want to see in the CV. And if you are going to look at the project experience, instead of listing the organizations you have worked before, you list the key projects that relate to, the project they're trying to advertise for. Take, for example, they need someone to be on a plant project. They needed someone to be on a plant project, and the experience you have is on residential. You can't bring experience from residential to plant projects because there are a lot of things they need you to know. They wouldn't want a situation whereby they will be training and retraining. But if you have worked on a plant project, even though it is one, probably 5 years ago, list that project. If that project is a similar one, they know you have the experience on that project and they will be able to give little or no training to you before you commence, because they look at the cost of training you as well and other things like that. So list those projects. If you have worked on an estate development, list it, and you list the company, you write the company. Instead of writing the role, you write the company you worked with. And in your description, you basically talk about your achievement, your role on that project, and your achievement on that project. So if there are going to be 300 job advertisements, if you are going to apply for the O300, you need to work on your CV to reflect on how you as a quantity surveyor, or how you as an estimator can fit into that project. That's what they want to see. That's what they need to see on your CV. Then looking at your qualifications. Your qualifications includes your educational qualification, and here as well, you need to do a lot of groundwork on the organization you are going to. If it is a kind of organization that a lot of, you can read their profile, you see that most of them, they are just BSc holders, and you are a master's degree holder, and you're putting it in your CV that you're a master's degree holder, they may not consider you. Why? Because they believe, oh, this one might probably come to become our boss. But if you put in there, okay, I'm a BSc holder, you have the BSc, that is the minimum requirement. But if it is listed in the job description that a master's degree holder is an added advantage, you put it there. But if nothing was mentioned like that, just restrict yourself. Yes, you're a BSc holder. This. By the time you're doing your interview, you can, if you are invited for interview, you can tell them further that, yeah, I have a master's in this. While I was not working, I was doing my master's, and I have a master's in construction management, which is a new thing for them to put on, and a new reason for them to consider you more, because they believe you are vast in that area. Oh, you're a master's degree holder and you are practicing. That's good. You're a master's degree holder and you are not really pursuing academics. That's good. So those are the things they will also look into. And your professional qualifications are key. If you have professional qualifications, list them. Yeah, member Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyor, member Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyor. They believe because you have a professional qualification, you are regulated. They believe you can't cut corners. They believe whatever you're going to bring on the table is something that you can defend at any point in time. And the last thing to consider is the skills. Skills, a blend of technical skills and interpersonal skills are very, very important. Estimating is a technical skill, cost planning is a technical skill, contract management is a technical skill, communication management is an interpersonal skill. Communication management, you're a team worker, you are an efficient, and you deliver to time. Those are the basic things. It's not, I've seen CVs whereby they list, skills almost the whole page. No, it's not done. A minimum of 6 skills covering both technical and interpersonal skills, or a maximum of 8 or 10, to give them something to chew on. You don't put everything you have on the CV. If you are invited for interview, you have more to say. Your CV is just to let them know that you possess what can make you perform efficiently in that role. They should give you an opportunity, for them to see you and for you to tell them more that you have. I've gone for an interview whereby I had to show them the pictures of all the projects I've worked on before. They were thrilled. Wow, we never knew you have this kind of experience. All right, I think you were good to go. But your CV should give them a synopsis. Should just like give them perceive the aroma of what you are cooking. By the time you are invited for interview, you dish them the plate. So that's how it should go. And then what platform? there are several platforms through which jobs are advertised, and you need to understand the requirements. Read the job description. Read the job descriptions. For example, LinkedIn, there are jobs that are advertised through LinkedIn, and if you are applying through LinkedIn, you must be sure to add your LinkedIn profile. They're going to check you out. They're going to know what you possess, how you have progressed. So you must understand the requirement. There are some they will not require PDF formats, they require Word formats. There are some they require digital formats. You need to read all those things, churn them. If possible, get a notebook to write out all the requirements. So all these requirements is what you are going to, include in your statement when you're describing your achievements or when you're describing the role with which you have worked on. Then your profile on each of these platforms must be the same. Must be the same. You need to understand that they will check you out. Like a quantity surveyor, if you are going to get a contractor, you do due diligence. So the recruiters too, they're going to do their own due diligence. They don't know you, they've not met you before, they're only reading about you. They are going to search out for you on Facebook. They're going to search out for you on LinkedIn. They're going to search out for you on Twitter. Is it the kind of person that talk loosely? They want to know who you are, even if they have not met you. And don't be surprised when they are meeting you. If they have seen any of your nicknames, they can call you by that just to make you feel at home. That's to let you know that they have done some digging about you. If they're going to dig something about you, it must be something they will be proud of. And then referee. I've seen a lot of people included referees in their CV. For me, I don't like it, and most of the recruiters they don't like it. It's a kind of information you need to keep. If they need it, they request for it. So it's not compulsory; it has to be included. You can just write referees to be provided upon request. And if requested, it must be someone you have worked with. I've seen people putting names of lecturers, putting names of people that on a normal day they won't pick a call, because these people, the recruiters are going to check you out. They're going to call your referees to know more about you. I've I've played the role of referees for a lot of people, and you'll be kind of surprised with the kind of questions they are asking. Have you worked with this person before? When he was in this role, what was he doing? How was he behaving? Why did you let him leave? Some funny questions. So it must be someone that knows you in and out, someone you have worked with in any of the projects or in any of the companies you have listed, and someone that can testify to your skills and achievements. I've seen someone who was like a laborer on a site, and is a skilled person, but just trying to keep body and soul together, and he included that role in the CV. So when they were calling the referee in the CV, just wrote there that a casual worker, and by the time they know, oh, he's a laborer, this is one of my laborers on site, and it was kind of demeaning. But if it is someone you can trust, if it is someone can have your back, you put the names there, they are surely going to contact them. They are going to search out the companies. What capacity is the company? What capacity do they have? And what are those things they need to know about the organization? The organization you are coming from, is it a fit for where you are going to? Or is it higher than where you are going to, or is it too low from where you are going to? They need to know most of these things before they can consider you. And the key points I'm going to talk about here: resist the urge to exaggerate your achievements. Write what you who you are. Write who you are. Let them know that who you are, because you don't have to tell lies. Because by the time you tell lies, there is a cost. There is a cost to the lie you are telling, because by the time they start interviewing you, they get to know this is different from what you wrote. Make sure your CV is well laid out with ample white space and large section headings. Let them know what heading is discussing, which heading is discussing what, and use good fonts. Use good fonts. Time News Roman, Cambria, Calibri, etc. And also bear in mind that the company probably uses applicant tracking software, like I have mentioned earlier. You must read the job description and write down the relevant keywords, so that you have those keywords in your CV. When by the time they are doing a random search, once they just type in those keywords, it will bring, okay, there are three there are 3 CVs that has this keyword. Let's first look at them and see what they have. Include action words such as accomplished. You created, you delivered, you managed, you produced, you investigated, you supervised. Those are one of the things they want to see. And whenever relevant, add figures, percentages to qualify your achievements. So I'll be able to attend to all other questions when the time for the question is on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, QS Tosin Akimaladun. Thank you so much. And without much ado, we have to move on to the panelist. We have to move on to the panelist session. I believe our audience participants online have actually shared some of the questions which our panelists will have to provide answers to. The panelist session will first of all ask our speakers some few questions. Thereafter, we will attend to comments from participants that are watching us from YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Thank you so much to everyone for staying with us. I believe you've been able to learn so many things and from this conversation. Um, uh, Kirasaki Radiwo, do you have anything to say to our audience out there? The participant watching us online.
I believe people are excited with the presentations we've had so far, and they have 1 or 2 questions to ask our panelists. So I think we can go ahead with the panelist session, introduce the other panelists we have on ground, and then we start with the questioning.
QS Action Radio is actually from South Africa and here in Nigeria. The world has actually gone global.
Exactly.
The world is a global village. QS Tosin is actually speaking to us from Australia. And some of our panelists, Dr. Anjiba online at the moment. She's actually joining us from Canada. And we have QS Bolaji Shotune from Nigeria as well.
So I think we can
So
start.
we need to have our panelists on stage right now.
All right. I believe Dr. Anjiba is not online yet, so probably she'll join us as we go on.
How about the chairman of the YQS Forum?
All right. Okay. Going straight into the question and answer session. Let's start with QS Bolaji Shotunde. My first question goes thus. I believe you have given us a breakdown of what these different reciprocity agreements entails, the benefits, as well as the approach to how we can get registered in whichever country we find ourselves that we NIQS have reciprocity agreements with. From my own perspective, I would ask, what are the challenges these reciprocity agreements have encountered so far, based on what NIQS have with, for example, the CIQS, the ECG, or the Qatar Green Building Institute also. So, what are the few challenges that you can say NIQS have encountered so far?
Thank you for that question. And when you mean challenges, do you mean in relation to fulfilling the details of the agreement?
Exactly. In the implementation of these reciprocity agreements, have we had maybe professionals coming in from any of these institutes trying to join in the NIQS, or our own members trying to join at the other institutes?
All right, I'm super. I think one of the major challenges, as it were, um, is the fact that some of our members don't even actually know the details of the agreement we have in place. They have an overview, but they don't necessarily understand what it's all about. So, from a place of understanding, I think some of our members are not really fully acquainted. They just say that this thing has been signed and nobody's really trying to study and try to ask more questions as to how and they can go about it. I think that's the one. Other than that, we've not the execution of the details of the agreement has been an easy ride. We've not necessarily encountered any hiccups. Members who've reached out to us, notifying us that they are trying to get involved there, we've assisted in any way we can. The agreement speaks for itself, and the mere fact that it is also listed on the platform of Canada, for instance, NIQS, for instance, also make it easier. So you need little or no even intervention from us. Your NIQS certificate speaks for itself. But we've not really encountered challenges as to having difficulty in establishing the content of that details, other than the fact that we need some of our members here to take advantage of it, try and look at it and see how they can tap into the opportunities that's provided for us all.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, QS. Just in addition to that, the NIQS has an existing relationship with the Qatar Green Building Council, QGBC, the Canadian Institute of Conservators, engineering consultant group of Qatar, the Qatar office. How best can you explain the extent to which the member of the institute has benefited from this agreement? Even though the CIQS is the one that is more pronounced, and the members that has benefited in gaining certification from CIQS has actually shared testimony on LinkedIn. But if you look at the agreement um, with the Qatar Green Building Council, some of the reciters actually has it that one, disseminating knowledge and awareness on sustainability and cost/value management in the built environment, offer training both inter and intra institution as may be required from time to time by either party, provide exchange of experience in their local construction industry and market, provide and facilitate appropriate framework for certification of qualifying members, and lastly, undertake research in area of common interest by either party or their members interested in furthering such within the built environment. That's just to take a few recitals from the QGBC agreement. But I just want you to really explain to what extent as the members of the institute benefited from all this agreement.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Adiera. And I think first and foremost, it's always important to establish and thank those who have come before us, who've made this agreement possible, for their foresight and their knowledge in making this possible. The mere fact that we have this MOU in place, all right, number one, it's a show to indicate that yes, our members, as a national level, we are taking advantage of having this agreement. Now, secondly, the onus now comes to those of us who will be interested in having or zeroing in the specifics of green building. All right, we will collaborate with the Secretary Professional Development as to foster this kind of research or intervention between international bodies. meaning that for some of our particularly lecturers or researchers who are in school who are able to look into that, we provided that platform for them to be able to reach out through us to these bodies so that we can create leverage on the agreement we have, okay, and foster this relationship we've tried to build. So generally speaking, we have this umbrella that is waiting to be tapped into, if I can put it that way. We have this umbrella that our members are yet to beginning to extract from it the benefits of which we've gone into this agreement. And this is what I want to keep emphasizing, all right? We have it on ground, okay? The benefits of getting into this agreement, how have we yielded it? And it comes in the hands of our members who are actually playing in that environment, our researchers, those in academics who seeing this thing we provided, they can then leverage on this and write to the NIQS and say, see, this agreement we've given you have with Qatar Green Building Council, we're interested, our research facility is interested, our school is interested. How can we foster that better relationship? Also, on our part at the national level, and of course in conjunction with the Office of the Secretary of Professional Development, we're going to be looking at how to enhance some of these things and bring it to the forefront, tap into this knowledge. Again, like I said, we also must be ready to give back. Okay, we also must be ready to say this is what we are bringing to the table in terms of the Qatar Green Building. But nevertheless, these things are there and they are waiting to be tapped into. But the fact that we provided this umbrella, I think generally has been beneficial to everybody who deems it fit to tap into the opportunity.
All right. Thank you very much for that answer. My next question will go to QS Tosin Toladun. Based on your presentation, sir, can a member of NIQS in Nigeria earn international certification with, say, CIQS, AIQS, and other quantity surveying organizations? If yes, what is the procedure to achieve this?
Thank you very much. Can you please come again with a question?
Okay, my question is, can a member of NIQS in Nigeria earn international certification with maybe CIQS, AIQS, and other quantity surveying organizations outside Nigeria? And if this is possible, what is the procedure for achieving that?
Yeah, it's very, very possible. You know, with the reciprocity agreements, all we need to do is to read through the agreement. Basically, you can find it on NIQS websites, web pages, or the other organization. If there is a reciprocity agreement, you know, the reciprocity agreement is just basically letting you know that, okay, we acknowledge the experience and the knowledge you have from where you are coming. We acknowledge that it is similar to the practice we are having here. And instead of you, you know, starting from ground zero again, you know, they will just, with your submission and your certification, you will earn their certification over there. So that is how, for example, for some people in Canada, they have been able to achieve this feat without having to write any other qualification exams in Canada, or without having to write any other exams, or write any other case study for them to earn the PQS designation. However, in Australia, it's not yet the case. Like SIA mentioned the other time, they are going to revisit the reciprocity agreement with Australia. So if you are coming to Australia and you have an IQS, you will have to, you know, probably do either a level one or level two exams before you can earn either their chartered QS or membership of AIQS. Now, however, AIQS has reciprocity with RICS. So if you have RICS, you know, you just put in your application. You don't need to write any exams. You don't need to write any case study. You will earn the AIQS and probably CQS certification. Thank you very much.
Yeah, in addition to that, just to buttress what QS Hakim Maradio actually said earlier, you know, currently you are based in Australia. and you are a member of the Canadian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, which I believe that process was made possible. You didn't relocate to Canada. You are based in Australia, and you were able to attain that certification. Can you actually explain some of the process that it actually took you? Because I also want to believe that currently I'm in Nigeria. If I want to become a certified member of CIQS, I'm still practicing in Nigeria, but I want to have certification. I believe it's possible, because for you to have actually attained that, though being in Australia, also a member of the Canadian Institute of Conservation. So, what's the process? Can you briefly explain? And if we look at the reciprocity agreement, that section is actually not being covered, because the reciprocity agreement actually focus more on people who want to relocate to Canada, or a Canadian citizen that wants to relocate to Nigeria. Just briefly explain to us the process while I will ask some other questions.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. What I did was to jump onto CIQS website. Some of the problem we have is reading. Yeah, some of the product you need to jump onto their website, read, read as many information as they have. For example, this NIQS reciprocity agreement is on their website. If you can't get it on their website, you send them email. They will respond to you, and they will tell you the process to follow. Basically, what you need to do is to get an application form. It's online. It's on their website. Fill it, send it to them to their email, and you attach your what's it called? You attach your QSRBN or NIQS certification, and you must also prove to them that you are a financial member of that organization you are tendering the certification from. If you are not a financial member, they will not honor it. However, and I think it's part of their process, whoever that is making that kind of application, they will have to send it to NIQS to certify that a person is a financial member. So once you're a financial member and you have the number of years of experience that is equivalent to you getting a PQS, then there's nothing stopping them from, giving you. I applied for mine from Australia, and I got it.
All right. Thank you for that insight into the process that it entails to become a registered QS in Canada, even while you are still in Nigeria or maybe any other part of the world. So, moving on now, I will direct this question to QS Bolaji. Um, At the moment, what are the plans of NIQS to enhance the reciprocity or mutual policies with other independent professional bodies in Africa? Take, for instance, the Ghanaian Institute of Surveyors or the ASAQS and the likes, not just in Africa as well. We have institutes outside the shores of Africa, maybe in the Western world. What are the existing plans, or what are the prepositions that NIQS have towards getting this in place? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, super. I was saying thank you for the question, and that generally any organization or institution anywhere in the world that we believe has something that is beneficial for our members and that we also in return can give or make value available to them, we will explore. And we have the mindset of doing that, particularly this present council. The approach, like I'd mentioned, I've alluded to a little bit during my presentation, was that we're taking these things in different approach. Okay, we're looking at the African continent, the African market, We already have AAQS, which we are a member of, and hoping to facilitate further relationship with AIQS. And through AIQS, look at all the existing members of AIQS. What can we do to bridge the gap, to create a mutual understanding? So we're looking at that in Ghana, SA, through AQS. We're also looking, outside of Africa. We've made giant steps with Australia. I would like to say that the last couple of weeks we've had to reach out. We've made some findings. We've gotten some documentations, and you see, just for me to add this general comment here, the process of going through this actually also involves us sending curriculums, sending the school curriculum, what we teach in the universities, to the syllabuses, the exams we do, everything that has to do with conduct surveying is part of what we send to this organization, institutions, for us to get this agreement done. So it's not something that is perhaps in the twinkling of an eye. It's a process that could take you a whole lot. It talks about reviewing documentations, reviewing policies. We're not just running to them. They are also coming to us. So we also need to be sure that whatever it is they have there, it's something that we can guarantee that says meets our own local conditions there. So to be more direct to your questions, we are stretching out. We are reaching out to members within the African community, also international community, as much as we can, to get this mutual collaborations, be it MOU, be it reciprocity agreement done. Anything that benefits our members, we will take advantage and we will explore.
Yeah, thank you, QS today. Glad to see QS Hanjiba joining us from Canada. I would have loved to ask her this question that Ibrahim Moritala had on the YouTube chat box. But before we have her back online, maybe Kirishitinde can actually buttress on that. Ibrahim Moritala asked the question those that that reciprocity agreement from other international bodies. Why is it that the condition they give is more than what we give to them? For example, the Canadian agreement that we put on. So I believe you can actually answer that, even though.
Oh, super. So you see, I would like us to understand that reciprocity agreement has to do with values and what benefits. In some instance, all right, that you have an agreement with somebody doesn't mean that exactly what it is they are giving to you is what you are giving to them. I believe I did I made an analogy with a salesman that sells to a customer that decides to sell to the customer at a much more lower price that is required just so that the customer can keep coming back. So you must look for what works for you best, okay? And the customer also must look at what works for them best, all right? So to be more direct, right? What you're referring to in my slide concerning that of CIQS and NIQS, okay, it's a line there, which is the first one that talks about completion of the bylaws, rules, regulation of the ethics portion of CIQS test of professional experience practice problem. Okay, that is a standard requirement that they brought to the table. Okay, it's something that they feel they'll be comfortable with in reaching this agreement, having reviewed all our own documentations. And mind you, the end justifies the beginning. So I do not see these conditions as necessarily being maybe at an advantage over one or the other. It's about what is the other party is going to be comfortable with, and if in any way, whether it does not compromise or put out or go against our constitutional requirements as NIQS. So simply put, it's not about the numbers. It's not about the number of things they want you to do. It's not about the number of things you want them to do. It's about whatever it is that brings value to your own table, that you are comfortable with, that won't compromise your own independent values, and what exactly it is you are bringing to the table. So let's not approach agreement with, oh, they told us to do 10 things. Meanwhile, we told them to do 5 things. No. Okay, it's a collaboration. It's a discussion. It has to be a win-win situation at all times. All right. Thank you.
All
All
right,
right.
QS Anjiba, do you have anything to add to that? Or is your mic still muted?
Your mic is muted, ma.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I think I should remove the earpiece or something.
No, you can leave it. We can hear you. Just
You
go
can
ahead
hear
and
me
speak.
crystal clear, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we can. Just go
Okay,
ahead.
so just hold on a little. Just hold on a little.
Our baby QS also want to participate in the session. That's a very good.
There's a reason to catch them young.
Yeah.
Actually, it's
Which
about
I believe the
two.
YQSF are doing a wonderful work with regards to that. Project
Yeah,
Get
it's
Kids into QS. All right,
Okay,
welcome back.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Sorry, a mother is always multi-skilling, talking to people, taking care of the family and all that. So I'm so happy to be with you. So a long time, pretty long time. Thank God we're here. Thank God for technology. So I heard them asking about CIQS and all stuff and all that. So um I want to reiterate that in this part of the world where you qualify for something, you qualify for it. There is nothing like, oh, because I know A or B, C, D. That was why I got it. It doesn't operate like that. When I came to Canada and connected with CIQS, everything is in black and white, just like Akin said that we don't read. So when we don't read, we don't get information. Here in this part of the world, if you must run with them, you must be able to be reading at all times. You must be on your phone, maybe on your email, on your whatever it takes to communicate with them. It must be up and doing. So if you don't read, you don't get it. I got my own through the reciprocity agreement. And when I got it, I called the one of the past president, in fact, the person that initiated the reciprocity movement, QS on Ashley, and he said no, they are supposed to give you more than that. So I went back to them and said my president said I'm supposed to get more than that. Then I brought the reciprocity agreement. I read their own, I read NIQS's own. Everything is in black and white. Nobody's cheating anybody. Now after that, I tried to uh, connect some other persons in Nigeria to connect with them, and they also got the same thing. They even got some. It's according to your qualifications. They will evaluate you and everything. And once you're qualified for that particular position you're looking for, you get it. If you don't, they'll tell you what to do to get to that point. Like me, they asked me to get the Canadian experience. Every country has gotten its own policies and procedures on how they do things. You cannot just run into Australia and say, I want to practice without knowing the rudiments of how Australia operates. You cannot run to Nigeria to say you want to operate where you don't know the rudiments on how to operate. So they always emphasize here that you must get the Canadian experience. And sometimes when we do all these things and they bring some challenges our way, like a normal Nigerian, they're checking out. They don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to take anything. They just want to get everything on a platter of gold. It doesn't operate like that. So the reciprocity agreement is not one-sided. These two bodies came together. Both parties are well intelligent to know what they are bringing to the table. So nobody's cheating anybody. Like Akin said, if you want to know more, just go to their website. Everything is there. If you're not also satisfied, there are ways to go about them and all that. So everything is open to everybody. You're in Canada or you're in Nigeria doesn't mean that you cannot access their website or they cannot access you. It's a global village, right? Technology is connecting all of us. We are here in different parts of the world and we are connecting. So if you want anything, you just go do the necessary things. Once you're eligible, you're eligible. Nobody cheats anybody. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, ma. I think that adds to what QS Tolado had said earlier. Um, I would quickly like to encourage our viewers, wherever you are, if you have your questions, please post them in the comment section, either on YouTube, on Facebook, or on LinkedIn, and we will take your questions up here with the panelists. Moving on, there's a question asked by Ayuba Musa, which says, I am meant to understand that date of birth sex, state of origin should not be included in CV preparation based on international standards. Can that apply to Nigerian context also? I believe that question goes to QS Tosin.
I would say yes, if it was not specifically listed in the job description. You don't need to add it, because these are the things that consume space. When you're presenting a CV, like I said, it should be a maximum of 2 pages. Once it is going beyond 2 pages, is you are giving too much, information, and you are giving the recruiter or the assessor too much to chew. And when they're spending too much time on your CV, it doesn't really speak well about you. So try as much as possible conserve space. And one of the ways to conserve space is to remove unnecessary requirements. Sex, date of birth, state of origin. No one's, even in this part of the world, no one wants to know whether you're from New South Wales or you're from Western Australia or you are from Ontario. Even in this present age, courtesy COVID-19, someone can be in Canada and be working for someone in Australia, because you met it, you apply for it, and they felt that you're good about it. So if you are presenting the CV, if it is not in the job description that they needed a female, if it is not in job description that they needed someone younger than 40, there is no point putting your date of birth, your sex, your state of origin, etc. Thank you.
All right. Just to add to that, also from experience, I believe if you add this information to your CV, if the recruiter is biased towards someone from a particular state, you've already disqualified yourself without giving yourself the opportunity to meet one on one and then probably give a roll down of what you are capable of. So, if, for instance, someone who is from Edo State wants to employ and then an advertisement is put up, and probably you are from, say, Ogun State, and this person has had a bad experience with someone from Ogun State before. The moment they see that on your CV, without even getting to know you one on one, they already have probably a biased mind towards you, and then whatever they are seeing else on that CV might not make sense to them. But if you have not stated where you are from, they give you the opportunity to have a fair uh, evaluation of your CV. And then when you are invited for an interview, probably the question comes up during the interview session to ask, okay, where are you from? And you mentioned that, but you have been able to present yourself. You have been able to convince them on what you are capable of, your capabilities and your skills. So where you are from might not eventually count against you at that point in time, considering whatever bias that particular recruiter have against people from that particular location. So most of the time, it's always advisable, if not requested on your CV, it's always advisable that you don't necessarily put your uh, location or place where you are from, your state of origin, or maybe your date of birth and sex. You can always be silent about that. But for instance, if you look at the South African economy here, the system favors females more. The system wants more females to be involved in a job positions. So you see, most of the time when they're advertising, they put preferably female. So in that instance, when you are preparing your CV, it's important you include your sex if you are a female, because that gives you an added advantage when you are applying. Whoever is evaluating your CV already knows, okay, this is one of the categories of people we are trying to consider for this position. So you need to understand the dynamics of whatever institution or whatever organization you are applying into, what they are looking for, and then you can tailor your CV in that line. So I think that's the addition I want to add from my side.
All right, thank you very much. There's actually a question here that there are numerous international recruitment agency, and where amidst them, I mean, there are also the dubious one. People that are not really interested in recruiting, but they're just there to scam people. How best do you think participants watching us online can actually identify a genuine organization that will aid international recruitment process. So, Estosi and Akimaladu, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. One one of the ways you can get things that every organization has their own human resources department. So if you are keen at getting job, you can send your CV even without job advertisement to these organizations. The first interview I attended, I just sent my CV to the HR, and fortunately I was called for an interview. There was no job advertisement, so you can send directly to them. If there is no space, they will keep your CV in view, pending the time you have they will have a space open, and they can give you a call. But if you are using recruiters, there are lots of recruiters out there, as has been mentioned. One thing you need to look out for in a recruiter: where is he or she meeting you? If is good enough to invite you, okay, let's come meet in my office. Then this one is genuine. He has an office. If it's intended, if it's determined to come and meet you where you are, then it shows what he or she is recruiting for is very, very important. But for people, anyone asking you make payments for me to process this and that, it is not, it's dubious. Anyone asking for you to make payments for them to get your CV across is dubious. No recruiter will ask for such, because they are being taken care of by the organization they are recruiting for. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that insightful answer. Moving on, this next question will be for Dr. Anjiba. Um, which province in Canada is quantity surveying profession more viable? And can you briefly explain if the reciprocity agreements boost the chance of NIQS members plan to relocate to Canada?
Okay, so it's so funny question. Yeah, I would say Canada is a multicultural country. We have over 250 countries, citizens, or home-based people represented here. That means we have over 250 countries that you will ever find here in Canada. It's a multicultural society. There is no discrimination here, even if there are pockets of discrimination, like we may not know, we may not see, but they are there. We are human beings, we always portray that discrimination tendencies. But I will tell you that all the provinces are equal. The only thing I will tell you concerning which province is viable, Ontario is a bit warmer than any other province. So people tend to domicile in Ontario because of the weather condition, and it makes the population more here in Ontario. If not, any part of Canada you decide to migrate to, you can practice quantity surveying. But let me tell you what will shock you. In Canada, they don't really care about education. They don't really care about how qualified you are in terms of going to school and acquiring that skill. They want to see you, your hands on the deck. Like, okay, you're a quantity surveyor, all right, you can do this, come and do it now. So even if you don't go to school formally to become a quantity surveyor and you learn in the industry, you can be qualified to become a PQS or ECE or ECE, yeah, ECE. Yeah, so CEC, sorry, CEC, that is Satisfied Estimation qualification. So that is that in terms of our profession. Then if you say you want to migrate because of reciprocity agreement, or that when you come you want to stay back because you have the reciprocity agreement, it will not work. CIQS is not immigration. Canada is very stern with their immigration policies. There are different routes to coming into Canada, not through CIQS. CIQS just gives you the leverage to say, okay, fine. We know NIQS as an organization, as a body of professionals. We know CIQS. So why don't we go into partnership so we can, do things together. That is the essence of reciprocity. Just like 1 = 1 over something, 4 = 1/4, the reciprocal of 4. So that is that. So apart from that understanding, CIQS will not make you come to Canada to domicile here because you have that agreement with them. They are not immigration. Here the law works, meaning anyhow you want to come to Canada, you must pass through the normal process. CIQS will not also help you. Like the other day, I called them and said, you're going to have your annual congress. How do other people participate? It's open to everybody. What they will tell Nigerians is what they will tell Australians. What they will tell Australians is what they will call the British people. What everybody is the same. But CIQS will not give you the leverage to come in and say you want to practice quantity survey because you're part of the reciprocity agreement. But you can look at, like Tosin said, you can go online and search. There are a lot of routes to how to come to Canada. You can be in Nigeria and be a CIQS member or whatever. If you want to come to Canada, there are a lot of routes. You can come through the skilled workers experience. You can come in, the skilled workers experience gives you a permanent residence back home to come to Canada as a resident, permanent resident. You can also come through the labor market impact assessment route, where you apply to an organization, and if they take you, meaning that they don't have that skill here locally and they are looking for you internationally, that organization that is employing you will do everything for you. You can also come in through the federal skilled worker route. There are a lot of them. You can come in as a student. Like students have upper hands, right? When they come in and do their programs, Canada gives them 2 years to practice, and they get the Canadian experience, which they are looking for you to qualify to becoming a permanent resident, then onward to becoming a citizen. So these are the routes you will follow. So that reciprocity agreement doesn't give you a migration status to come to Canada to stay. CIQS doesn't have that powers. Not even the president of CIQS has that powers. It will not work. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm actually sharing a slide right now. I don't know if US Person can actually project that. That's what will lead to the next question. As at October 18, 2010, Vanguard has it that quantity surveillance renewed talk with RICS on the reciprocity. You can actually go on Google, you can search that, and that will lead us to the next question to QS Bolaji Shetunde. We actually have a question from Benga Pukuola, participant watching us from YouTube. He said, Nigeria, like Ghana and Australia, is a Commonwealth country. When is NIQS getting accepted, or when is NIQS signing a reciprocity agreement with RICS? Also, bear in mind that right now in Nigeria, we have the RICS group, and we have so many of our members who are members of RIQS. I believe while the president was actually giving his opening remark, he actually made mention of some challenges. But with what has happened with Association of Conservators that's a Association of Conservators in South Africa, what happened with AIQS and some other countries that have independent quantity surveying body, they have an agreement with RICS. So when? That's the question. Since 2010. Here we are, 2022. How can this vision or this request be made possible?
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. Let me start by saying hello to Doctor. It's a pleasure meeting you here on this platform.
Thank you.
And yeah, and of course, Doctor has been one of those who I've also personally reached out to and hoping to keep talking to as we go along with this service to the Institute. And Sabala Diera, it also has to extend to you and also to everyone on this platform. I'm also asking the question when. I'm also trying to find out why it has taken us so long. What are the challenges? The council is continuous. It's a continuous process. So what we are doing presently is that we are gathering all the records. We do not necessarily know what has happened over the years. but we do believe that it is what it is. That doesn't stop us from reaching out again and understanding exactly what is going on. So over the past few years, we've had a lot of things being said while our ICS wants all of us in Nigeria to come under one body of surveyors before they can reach out to us. And before you could know it, like you said, Ghana, and they went into an agreement with Ghana. So what we're doing presently, all right, is we're gathering our records, we're gathering our documentations and put up a front and approach these bodies again and see how far we can go. I do not think there's any harm in trying, irrespective of what about happened in the past. I believe this dispensation is new. We're picking up from where the last council member stops and we're forging ahead. So be rest assured, we're going to be making contact with all these professional bodies associations, like you've mentioned. Some of them we're already in talks with, Australia and the likes. PAQS, we're trying to get into full membership status in PAQS. PAQS has Canada already as a member, has Australia, has New Zealand as a member. Okay, we started that initiation with PAQS already. If we're able to get into membership with PAQS, then it more or less gives us the opportunity to also associate with all the existing members. And also, if we have a reciprocity with Canada, and Canada also has reciprocities with a lot of other companies, Hong Kong, Ghana, Australia, and the likes, there's nothing stopping us from leveraging on what we have in Canada in discussing with the other parties. So these are things we're looking at. We're going to expand the reach. And we're going to be needing everybody on this platform, especially those in the diaspora. US policy is an integral part of whatever is going on in Australia. The US my brother here right now, QS Akinra Dewo, is also going to be an integral part of whatever it is that goes on in South Africa. We need contact in Ghana. We need contact in New Zealand. We need contact in Hong Kong, in Singapore. So if there's anybody who is able to be any of our members there, it's okay to reach out to us while we also do the formal need. So yes, I'm also asking the question when, but I can assure you that there's a start, there's a process, and we'll all be alive to witness all the goods that we can do together as a team, not as an individual. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just quickly add this to that, because if you look at the current screen that I've actually projected, surveyors urge global benchmarking, for professionals. This newspaper was actually dated since 2019, and the content actually says that to boost the industry, the president of the NIQS, as at the period this agreement was signed, has called on other professions in the construction sector to seek global benchmarking as a way of ensuring best practices in the sector. And that's actually take us to the next question, which we want you to also provide an answer to. How has the reciprocity agreement enhanced best practice and benchmarking of QS practices in Nigeria against international best practice? Has there been any improvements in QS practice in Nigeria as a result of the international reciprocity agreement? What are the lessons that some of the firms and individuals have learned about international best practice, and have they really been putting it to practice in Nigeria? Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. If I'm to be candid, I think over here we ought to be proud of what we have. We ought to be proud of our standards. We ought to be proud of our system. We ought to be proud of our technical know-how here. And I say that because without a complete evaluation, without appreciating what we have, none of these institutions will have deemed it fit to go into an agreement or reciprocity with you. So what I'm saying in essence is this, that what we are doing here, what we currently practice here, can be benchmarked internationally with any organization. That is what is giving our members outside of the country the wherewithal to actually perform. It's from the knowledge they went from here. So there's a need for us to first of all emphasize the fact that quantity surveyors here under the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors are top professionals and that can match up with their peers wherever they are. Suffice to say, yes, there's a mutual benefit when it comes to exposure, when it comes to quantity surveying in a different environment where the system actually works, quantity surveying where market prices can be easily regulated, quantity surveying practice where issues of fees are not based on emotions, points of in practice where standardization is the wherewithal of the moment. So in terms of the technical skill, we're at par. But in terms of the systematic way of running the business, in terms of the systematic way of being a professional, and say yes, it has enhanced some of our skills. Some of us who have now been exposed to that understanding and knowledge, like QS Tose has said earlier, okay, it's giving us the avenue to begin to see ourselves not just as quantity surveyors, begin to see how we can have areas of specialization. Are you a cost estimator? Are you a cash flow manager? Are you a cost planner? It's giving us the opportunity to also begin to diversify, still within the context of coin surveying. But right now, we're giving narrations to a lot of things, and we have people who are now majoring into basic things. Before now, the natural thing you will have is EQS is either working in a consultant firm or as a contractor. Okay, that's only the two definitions we have before. But right now, we are seeing a lot of people talking about their narrations. Oh, I'm a cost estimator. You go to LinkedIn today and you see a lot of people write about them. People even in Nigeria hardly use the word quantity surveying anymore. It's like, so you're a construction cost expert or a contract administrator. Some of us have gone into arbitration. So these are the things that has brought value back, this exposure, going out there, see the different way in terms of the systems, in terms of the approach, okay, that is being done out there. Some of them has been back here and really, really we are benefiting from it. But in terms of technical know-how, I think we are deadly at par. Our system of evaluation, our standards of measurement, our ethics and everything are top notch. And that is the only reason why a lot of them are listening to us and ready to also engage us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Quickly, before we round up this session, one other question I have from my side is, how do we look beyond immigration benefits in our reciprocity agreements to facilitate collaboration both in academia and practice? We look at what the reciprocity we have with Canadian Institute of Quantity Surveyors, for example. It's only talking about moving from Nigeria to Canada or moving from Canada to Nigeria. I think we can leverage on what we have in the agreement with basically, I think it's Qatari, the Qatar Green Building Council, where we have different reciters that talks about disseminating knowledge and awareness on sustainability, undertake research in areas of common interest. So I think what are the plans that NIQS is making in this regard also, so that we don't limit our reciprocity agreements to just those who want to migrate. We can also promote our research works such that we have people in the academia collaborating with professionals outside there. A similar thing to what we have in the FIG annual conference also. So I think we can have a question in that line to say, what are the plans? What are we doing at the moment to look beyond just immigration benefits in our
All right.
reciprocity?
Okay, super. Thank you for that. And I know Doctor has referenced and some answers to this before, and I think it is something we need to emphasize. Okay, we need to find a way to disabuse the mindset that the whole idea of reciprocity has to do with immigration. No, they are two different things. See, the world has even become a global village. All right, we have a QS in Australia who is a member of CIQS, meaning, and is based in Australia. Okay, means that he can practice as a chartered quantity surveyor in Canada while he's still in Australia. Meaning that I, for one, as an individual, can also try to put in to CIQS, have my CIQS certification, and practice quantity surveying in CIQS from my base here in Lagos, Nigeria. So you begin to see that the reciprocity agreement really has nothing to do with collaboration. It is a value-driven process. And that is what we must continually emphasize. What is the value? What are you bringing to the table? Do you have a system and an economy where there's a great need for quantity surveyors or cost estimators? Have you identified that need there? And do you have what it takes to give them what they want? Okay, so the first thing is, first of all, to make yourself valuable. If you make yourself valuable and useful to them, then another thing is to think of the possibility of whether or not they want you to be there physically, which is a whole other process. So reciprocity agreement in itself, you need to dissociate it from the whole idea of immigration. What it does is probably give you an edge. What it does is to give you an advantage. What it does is to probably give you a sense of confidence to approach the rightful immigration office to say, see, I want to go, and I know what I want to go and do there. So we need to be clear. Now, in terms of research and academic, practice and all that, the plan really, and like again, once the committee is fully set up by the president in the coming weeks, the plan is to engage all these bodies, national bodies and ad hoc committees. We have the national bodies of quantity surveillance and academics. We have national bodies for collection of consultant quantity surveyors. We have national bodies of quantity surveyors in public service, quantity surveyors in contracting firms and all that. So we need to engage each of these bodies independently and begin to find out what exactly it is can we do, okay, is regards to improving what you do and bringing international standard. And again, what do you have that we can push out there? Okay, has the body identified any value chain, any value driven system internationally that they want us to type into? Mind you, the office of the SIA is the only one empowered to provide the legal entity for the institute in collaborating with this organization. Meaning, if anybody is going to have anything to do with anybody outside of the country or internationally, in the name of Nigerian Quantity Surveyors, it needs to come through the office of the SIA. So we need to begin to, first of all, sit with each other, understand the women waxing, for instance, sit with waxing. How can we promote international collaboration for waxing? What is the vision? Where is waxing going to? What is the plan? For quantity surveyors in academia, what is the plan? What is the vision? What do you want to achieve within this timeline? In which area do you want to develop your members? What is the need for your members? What can we look up to? Who can we identify outside of our region, outside of our country? Which institution, okay, can we begin to look up programs that will be mutually beneficial to both parties, where some of our academias, our members here in the academics can go out there, maybe do some form of internship, and we can have some of these people also come back here. We need to bring something to the table. So the plan generally, let's sit down with each other, sit down with everybody, have an understanding of what the need, what the strength and the weakness is, almost as if you are doing a SWOT analysis, like a strategy session with them, then put it on the table and beginning to look for partners outside that we can collaborate with. So it is doable, easier said than done, but I so much believe it's doable. And with a team of members that will be working with us at the SIA level, we believe we can at least, if we do not provide, I think we can start that process that other members coming up can follow up with. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, QS Shetunde, and also information to all our members and people watching us across the world. The NIQS, apart from having reciprocity agreement with CIQS, QGBC, ECG, they also have a memorandum of understanding with International Federation of Surveyors, International Cost Engineering Council, and in closing remark, I believe the SNA will actually shed more light on how BERST members can actually take part in activities of International Federation of Surveyors, that is the FIG, and International Cost Engineering Council, and some other organization in the year 2022. Now we have to move on to our closing remark from our panelists. First on my list, I will have to call on QS Hanjiba, QS Dr. Hanjiba, for our closing remark.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm so carried away that the thing is ending too early. So I want to tell our viewers that, like,
we'll still have more sessions.
okay, like Shodinde said, you have to differentiate between immigration and reciprocity agreement. There are a lot of the reciprocity agreement exposes you to knowing what obtains in the other part of the divide. You know, it gives you a knowledge, it gives you the well without to know that okay, in Canada, this is how they do things. So if I want to practice in Canada, I need to do A, B, C, and D. And not because you have a reciprocity agreement, it gives you an edge to come to Canada. Everybody wants to come to Canada. So it's not only QSs that want to come to Canada, but if you understand the agreement, it's not all about immigration, it's all about collaboration and knowledge sharing. Now, there were times when Canadians needed or Canada needed people in the construction industry. They opened up the immigration route or portal to say, okay, if you're a registered engineer, if you're a registered this, wherever you are, we want you. You follow that route at that time to come in. Like if there's an opportunity like that, why the reciprocity agreement becomes a very valuable asset. CNQS can tell NIQS, see, we are looking for construction experts here in Canada. Can you tell your members to apply, how to go about it? That is the benefit of reciprocity agreement. Right now, as I speak to you, they are looking for nurses, they are looking for doctors, pharmacists, anybody in the health sector. If you go to their website and you fill in some data about yourself that you are a nurse, you are a doctor, you're already like 85% of the mark scored because we're in a pandemic, right? And they're looking for people to fill in the health sector. There are times we are looking for educationists here in Canada, and people use the advantage at that time to come into Canada because they're educationists. So things open up, when they need the manpower. So if it comes to that, that they needed people in the industry, the reciprocity agreement becomes very valuable where CIQS will tell NIQSC, we needed people. Why don't you tell your members to apply? That is where the reciprocity agreement in terms of immigration becomes very handy. So go ahead to get your what is it, their membership, becoming a PQS. Maybe as you become a PQS and you apply the industries through some different platforms, that's okay. Canada has equated her degree to our own degree. That means we can hire her, we can hire him. And like they said, yeah, age is not a barrier, gender is not a barrier, where you're coming from is not a barrier. Those are not the things we put on our resume. When you're doing your resume, they will tell you that they don't need your age. Can you do it? Yes, come on board. That is what obtains here. So I will encourage everybody back home, wherever you are listening to us, please read, read, and read. If you don't read, you will not get informed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ma. Moving on, let's have the closing remark
Thank you
from.
very much. Read, read, and read. Information is key.
Okay, QS Shotunde, can we have your closing remarks, sir? You're muted. QS Bolaji, you're muted, sir.
Okay, super. I was just saying that Doctor was spot on and absolute about our remarks there, and I can't but keep thanking her for her input at all times. And from my end, we got into office barely shortly just before the Christmas break, and we resumed just not long ago. And like I said, we're still trying to find our footing. We've been doing a lot of record checking to know where we are. So we have plans ahead. And as much as possible, we'll try and engage members of the Institute much more. One of the things we plan to do is to perhaps have this open discourse as much as possible, try to bring the office of the SIA closer to the members. There are some key things that were initiated by the last council, the trip to Canada, for the attending the Congress. We now have much more detailed information concerning that. So I suspect that by the coming week, we'll be sharing that information. Also with ISEC, Canada is in June. ISEC is also in June. In fact, for ISEC, we got all the details we needed on Thursday, some of which is still have to go through the National Executive Council for final confirmation before we also share with the team, with the members. And if possible, we'll probably have an open discussion concerning both congresses where we can take questions and from members who need to have more information. FIG also is also a congress coming up somewhere in September, so let the members know. A lot of all these things about see what is also beneficial for us. The fact that there's a congress somewhere doesn't mean everybody in NIQS must also always go. We need to look at it, see whether it meets with our current policies, the vision of the current NEC, the perspective at which they want to go, and make sure that everything fully aligns, right? I also like to reach out to as many of our members who are outside of Nigeria. I'm aware that there's an organization in Qatar. From some Nigeria points of views, we have a lot of our members also in Qatar who are also trying to put themselves together. I would like to reach out to you. And also anywhere in the world where our members are and are thriving. Please let's have a relationship. Let's learn from you, so that constantly we can, share information to our members as to what you guys are going through and what the benefits are there. It's not enough to just sign this reciprocity. I think also all our members a duty of care to constantly remind them of things that they can benefit from this agreement. So once again, I would like to thank the organizers of this event, the YQSF in diaspora especially, for giving me the privilege to speak my truth and to share part of the vision with which you want to run with the NEC. I do appreciate that, and I hope I can count on your support. And also to the members who are watching us live, thank you for your time and thank you for listening to me. I will welcome questions via my emails or phone numbers like I shared earlier. Thank you and God bless you all.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We've enjoyed your presence in this session today. You've given us a lot of insight into what the NIQS reciprocity agreement entails and how we can take advantage of that, both in the practice, in the academia, and also for those who are looking to immigrate from Nigeria or from whichever part of the country. Um, Before we go, I think we have one more closing remarks to take, and that will be from QS Tosin Tolani.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really a very good time here to add to knowledge. One thing I just want to close with an analogy. In this time and age, we have the vehicle, we have the fuel, we have the driver. You are the driver. The vehicle represents your goals, your strategies. The fuel represents the knowledge, the information you have. And I think sometimes last year or before, they came up with what they call a fuel enhancer. That's when you put this thing in your fuel, it makes it last longer. So the reciprocity agreement of NIQS is just like the fuel enhancer. It's just to enhance, your knowledge, to enhance your information, to ensure that your goals are moving, in the right perspective, that you are achieving them. But the goals will remain static if you are not driving it. You must make moves. And like Dr. Hanji said, you need to read. You need to tap into information. Go to the websites, read, jot down, ruminate, tune on them. When you tune on it and you tune on it, you extract information and you move ahead. You move ahead. So that is all I have to say. And like I have presented, let's try as much as possible to make our CV, qualify us to, at least get interviewed, get them to know more about you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I believe it's been a very educative, informative, and insightful session we've had today for the webinar 4. of the 5 series organized by the YQSF Diaspora Special Group. Without doubt, a lot of information has been shared here today, which I believe would help one person or the other to make the right moves at the right time. And we believe this session is not just a once-off thing. It's something that is progressive. And the lessons we've learned from each of these sessions, we need to incorporate them into what we do daily as professionals to improve ourselves and to make us uh, presentable to the international community. So I believe what we've learned here today is something that we continue to develop ourselves on to become better and then improve on our professional practice. From my hand, I believe we've had a very interesting session today. Kiros Adibola, what do you have to say concerning today's session?
Yeah, just to appreciate our audience, our participants.
I believe he's having network challenges over there.
Yeah, just to appreciate all our audience and the YQSF Diaspora Special Group. Thank you so much. Thanks for the privilege to moderate the session. And then our audience can as well check the YouTube page on a later date for them to rewatch the replay video for the previous webinar and the current one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. As we look forward to the webinar 5, which is the grand finale of this 5 series, the team for
Yeah,
this
QS, I
series.
can hand over to you.
Okay, the theme for this series has been e-business and sustainable quantity surveying practices, and the grand finale, which is our webinar 5, is going to focus on blockchain technology and sustainable QS practices, the role of professionals and professional organizations. The date for this webinar 5 will be the 2nd of April, year 2022, and I'm very sure that this will be another session that will be so informative and entertaining at the same time. So I would employ us to keep on our tab. Let's diarize that date as we look forward to the final session of the 5 series of this webinar. From my side, it's been a wonderful session today. We've had a lot of information dished out in the last 2 hours, 35 minutes. Until next time when we shall be meeting again, I say thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.